Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Jennifer Coy, the CEO of Beauty Care Choices, and we are starting a little late today. So hopefully some of you stuck around with us and knowing that we would be here. Got a great show for you today. One of our in-demand guests. People just can't get enough of the knowledge from Benjamin Knight Fuchs, the founder and creator of Truth Treatment Systems. This is a skincare brand that we started with about 2 years ago, about 2 years ago. It is the skincare brand I use. It is very clean. A lot of these products that we're going to tell you today only have 5 ingredients or less in them. They are all biogenic, where they are naturally within your system. They're not identical products, and there's no fillers and there's no extra garbage. So rather than hear it from me, let's hear it from the man himself. Welcome to the show, Benjamin Knight Fuchs. Hi, Ben.
Well, thank you so much. And you know what? I think I was on your inaugural show, correct? I was
you
on the
are.
first show.
You're my most visited guest because
Okay.
I just love talking to you and I love the knowledge that you bring. But I will make a disclaimer right off the bat that a lot of people are very sophisticated and watch your other programs and their knowledge is like really,
Right.
good because they've listened to you. So when I translate or try and interrupt Ben to get a little more clarification, I try and do our show based off of people that don't have a lot of knowledge or a lot of basis for where your brand is. So kind of just people really getting into your skincare brand and getting into the truth. The truth in skincare and what it's all about, why it's so different. And it really is a very different type of skincare brand. You're a pharmacist, you're a cosmetic chemist, you're a nutritionist. What started this road in this journey down creating your own skincare brand?
It's a long story. I'm not going to give you the whole story,
Give me
but
the highlights.
I'll give you some of the highlights. First of all, one of the most important things that distinguishes what I do from pretty much all skincare companies is I'm formulating, and I'm also a clinician. So not only am I in the laboratory making products and studying how you make products, but I also work directly with people, and not as much anymore, but historically as I was developing the brand, I was working in a pharmacy setting. All of these products were developed in my compounding pharmacy. Now you probably know what the word compounding is these days. Everybody's heard of the word compounding. But back when I started developing products, nobody really knew what that was. Compounding is when you make the medicine.
You're actually in the laboratory mixing it up.
Making medicine. You'll come in for, typically these days, compounding pharmacists will make hormone medications, sometimes strange doses of medications, or perhaps they'll work with something called orphan drugs, which are drugs, medications that are not popular enough for them to be made by a big drug company. Okay. But they're still necessary for a few people, so they'll make those. What I did is I compounded for the skin. I developed a skill compounding specifically for eczema, psoriasis, especially for wound healing and for traumatized skin. And I learned a lot from being a compounder about how the skin works and what you could do to the skin to address injuries and to, most importantly, check this out, Jennifer, most importantly, to create changes. What's the one thing you want a skincare product to do? You want to create changes.
You want to see performance. Do that. Yeah.
Performance. Most skincare doesn't do that. There's this idea in the world of skincare that you can't really do anything for the skin topically, and that's not true. And I learned this because I was dealing with sick people. Well, see, I'm not a beauty professional. I don't really know anything about beauty. I'm a guy. I don't use beauty products. I didn't really know anything about beauty, but I knew a lot about health. And I was also an athlete, so I knew how to make my body grow. And I kind of extrapolated the wisdom that I had accrued from being a weightlifter and a bodybuilder to the skin. In combination with that, I also, as you know, I worked for Blistex. When I was in pharmacy school, I actually worked for the guy who invented. I was his research assistant, and I learned from a true master, a true genius, how you formulate and develop products. So I graduated pharmacy school with an understanding of how you formulate and developing products. In pharmacy school, pharmacists study something called transdermal penetration. It's called pharmaceutics. And this is the science of how you deliver things through the skin into the bloodstream. Mm-hmm. And this is why you have medications that you can apply topically. You have fentanyl patches, for example, and you have hormone creams. As you know, I work with hormone creams or topical hormone products. So I learned from a true master how you formulate products. I learned in pharmacy school how you deliver. As a pharmacist, we look at the skin, and I look at the skin as a route of administration to get things into the body. And then I was an athlete, so I was studying nutrition and what's called anabolism. I don't know if you probably heard that word. Anabolism means to build.
Okay.
So like anabolic steroids. I was studying anabolism. I was studying building because I wanted to be big. That's, when you're a kid, when you're a guy anyway, you're obsessed with being big and being strong. So I was studying, and I was in with a crowd who was studying nutrition and studying how you use nutrients to get bigger. So and also in pharmacy school, we study nutrition. So I left pharmacy school with an understanding of making products, of using the skin as a route of administration into the body, of using nutrition to heal the body, of anabolic strategies for growing tissue. And I just kind of put it all together in the pharmacy setting. One day, I actually started one day with a guy who came up to my pharmacy, and he had a bad condition called alligator skin, really severe dry skin. I mean, dry skin doesn't really describe what this guy had.
To the point of cracking dry. Yeah.
Yes, cracking, pain. It was actually, he was a construction worker, and he had what's called concrete dermatitis.
Oh.
Concrete people, there are people who are sensitive to some of the
From
ingredients.
actual making concrete, right?
From making concrete.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Dries
you know
the
what I'm
skin
talking
out.
about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
what I mean?
I have family actually in concrete, so I have seen those hands and what that does to their skin.
Exactly. There's caustic ingredients in concrete, and his hands were disastrous. They were painful to look at. I could only imagine what his name was Ed. I can only imagine what Ed was living through.
Yeah.
And he was agony and he was pain. And mind you, when Ed came up to my pharmacy, I was working at Albertsons Pharmacy at the time. When Ed had come up to the pharmacy for a couple of years before that, I had been getting a sense that there was something wrong in the world of skincare, because I knew about skincare from a formulation standpoint and from a pharmacy standpoint, but I didn't really understand until I graduated pharmacy school what people were actually using on their hands. And when I went out to look at inevitably, I went to the skincare section to look at ingredients, because that's what I was, an ingredient guy. And I would look at the ingredients and be like, oh my God, there's nothing in here. Most products had nothing in them.
You got glycerin, you got mineral oil, you got all this stuff that's not doing anything, right?
It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, people would come into my pharmacy, women especially, Ben, nothing's helping my wrinkles. Nothing's helping my acne. My skin is drier after I put my lotion on than before. And it was just a sense of nothing working. So between my background in pharmacy school and working with Dr. Jones and as an athlete, and then understanding what was going on in the world of skincare by looking at the ingredient decks on the shelves, and then people coming to my pharmacy setting, all of this and complaining and not being satisfied, all this kind of came together. Yeah. And it kind of culminated when Ed came up to me and showed me his hands, and a light bulb went off in my head. And I said, I'm going to go in the back of the pharmacy. And I don't know if you've ever been in the back of pharmacies, but we always have cool chemicals, because we pharmacists are frustrated chemists.
The best.
We all want to, you know what I'm talking about? There's always these cool things in the back. And so I said, I'm going to
experiment, test.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. So I went in the back of the pharmacy, and I put this thing together for Ed. And I didn't even think it was goop. I didn't think anything of it. It was goopy. It was messy. I didn't really pay much attention. I was just kind of using my intuition and things like a little this, a little that, you know.
Just trying to help Ed out.
I was trying to help Ed out, and little, I gave it to Ed. I didn't think about it, but little did I know Ed was using this, and come back 2 weeks later, and his hands are not 100% improved, but they're almost 80% improved, I would say. And he was one happy camper. Yeah. And Ed became a customer, and pretty soon his hands were completely improved. His concrete dermatitis was gone, and he started he told his physician, his dermatologist. I was in a little town called Longmont, Colorado at the time, and he told his dermatologist. His dermatologist called me up and started using me as his compounding pharmacist, telling me about his patients, what his patients' skin care problems were, and I would create products for his patients. And pretty soon, other doctors, other dermatologists in Longmont, Colorado, were doing the same thing. Calling Albertsons Pharmacy, asking for the pharmacist who makes the skincare products, telling either my pharmacy tech or myself what the problem was, and I would create products specifically for people, and they would come in and get their specific product just for them. Wow. I was compounding specific products for individuals, and all the while, Jennifer, I was learning. Yeah. I was watching. I was seeing what worked and seeing what didn't work, and I noticed there were certain strategies that I could use that would almost always work, which made sense because I was looking at the skin as an organ. Right. As a regenerating system.
The largest organ absorbing.
All of that. And almost always, almost 100% of the time, what I was doing was working. And so after doing this for a while for Albertsons, I was like, why am I doing this for Albertsons? I'm going to start my own darn pharmacy, which I did. I started a pharmacy called EconoComp Pharmacy, which all we did was skincare and nutrition. There were no drugs in the pharmacy, except for a few. Cool. I had retinoic acid, and I had hydroquinone, and a few topical antibiotics. But mostly, it was things I made. And
Every time you talk, I have like 1,000 questions going through my head. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me just wind this down real quick. What I learned was, contrary to conventional wisdom, there were indeed things you could do to the skin to grow it. But you had to have certain strategies that nobody was using. You had to use, as you alluded to at the beginning of this program, at the beginning of this video, you said, you didn't say use the word, but you said ingredients that are similar to the ones that are in your skin.
I did use the word biogenic.
Okay, so
I did use the word. Yes, I did.
Biogenicity.
Biogenicity. But that leads to my big question though, Ben, that I really just want to like have you go in this direction, because it's been really curious to me. With all the biogenic products that you use, do you get your vitamin intake of vitamin C through topic vitamins?
No.
Topical. Okay, no. It's different,
no.
right? Because I get asked this question a lot, and I'm like, can you get your retinol, your vitamin A through your topicals?
No.
Can you get vitamins transdermally?
No, let's talk about that real quick, because that's a good point. Okay, first of all, my products aren't biogenic. The ingredients I look for are biogenic.
Okay.
The ingredients I use are biogenic. By that I mean exactly the same or analogous to.
Okay.
Similar mimics of things that are already in the skin. And that gives the ingredients a certain friendliness. The skin is receptive to things it's friendly with, it's compatible with. It's compatible with things that are already in there. And I'm a lover of the skin, and I grew to be more and more of a lover. I grew almost by the day to be more and more of a lover of the skin, the organ called the skin. So I was fascinated with how it grew and how it replaced itself, and how molecules were deposited that made it healthier and moister and softer, and how you could stimulate collagen. I wanted to know what was in the skin that was doing the work, and I put those ingredients in the products, which seemed like freaking common sense to me.
Yeah.
I didn't see why that was just so intelligent, but nobody else was doing it.
Right.
And this required understanding the distinction, very important distinction that nobody makes. And this is not just for skin, this distinction. This is a distinction for all of health. The distinction between cells and stuff. All right? The body, right? I like that. I like that little look you gave there. Thank you. That's good.
Okay, you have me intrigued. Tobin, let's show the starter kit just so people can start seeing products.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So here, human beings are built, or animals in general, not just human beings, but the body, we'll take the human body as an example. The human body is built like raisin bread. See, what are the two components? You've probably heard me say this before. What are the two components of raisin bread?
Raisin bran, and raisins.
No, raisin bread.
Oh, raisin bread. Raisin bread. Raisins and flour.
And bread.
And
raisins
bread.
And bread.
Raisins and bread.
Right? So the body's built the same way, but instead of raisins and bread, because we're not raisin bread, we call it cells and stuff.
Okay.
And here's where it gets cool. The raisins, the cells in the body, are magical raisins. They're not ordinary raisins. They're magical raisins from magic. Okay?
Okay.
These magical raisins make their own bread. Imagine if I gave you a handful of raisins and you left it on your table and you went off and did your business and came back and looked at the table and you saw bread starting to form out of those raisins. You go, oh my God, those are no ordinary raisins. Those are magical raisins, right? Well, the human body is
I'm not sure I would think that, but okay.
Well, what would you think? And raisins come, all of a sudden you have raisin bread from your raisins? You'd be like, holy cow, that's like, Jesus
Jack
turning the wine to water.
Stuff here.
The water to wine. So, but the body is that magical. That's the magic of the body.
The healing properties, we've all seen that. It is a miracle.
The cells make the stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that we look at in the skin comes from cells. Why is that important? Well, if we're sick, or if we're not as pretty as we should be, or there's something wrong with our skin, it's a cell problem, not a stuff problem. And so to be healthy, to have beautiful skin, you've got to get to the cell. And that means you have to, number one, see what the cell needs. Okay. And number two, you have to get it to the cell. And this is what truth is about. If I had to sum up what truth is about, it's about putting things on the skin that the cell wants and getting those things to the cell. That's why all our ingredients are either ingredients that activate the cell or feed the cell, or ingredients that help the ingredient get to the cell. That's why we say 100% active and functional. What I mean by that is 100% ingredients that are actually getting to the cell to turn it on, to have it make moisture factors, to have it divide so you have more cells for thickness, to have a better stratum corneum, to have more collagen, or ingredients that deliver those active ingredients to the cell. And that is the secret to beautiful skin. And that's also the secret to a beautiful body. But here's where it gets really interesting.
And the secret to truth treatments.
And the secret to truth treatments. Thank you. But here's what gets really interesting. You say, oh my God, what am I going to give the cell? Well, this gets back to what you're saying. This is why I'm talking about this, because of your question. So it all circles back. You said, can you get vitamins into the body topically, through topical application? See, the cells have a menu from which they like to eat. There's not a lot of things on the menu.
What they'll actually absorb, right?
That they will actually be activate, or they'll be responsive to. We call those things nutrients.
Okay.
If anybody ever asks you what a vitamin is or what a nutrient is, this is the answer. A nutrient is the menu from which it's the food from which a cell, or the menu from which a cell eats. And that menu has been around for 3.5 billion years with a B. And that menu is very narrow. It's vitamins, it's minerals, it's amino acids, and it's fatty acids, and a few other things, very few other things. So four classes of things. Those are generally nutrients. And here's where, to answer your question, most of those things come to the skin, like they come to other organs of the body, through the bloodstream. Okay? Through the blood. That's how they're supposed to get fed. We eat a food, it goes into our intestine, it goes through the intestinal line into the bloodstream, and then it circulates around and it gets delivered to all the cells. That alone is a miracle, how that happens.
That is crazy. Let's show the trifecta.
Let me just say one last thing.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just trying to get products going up too. Go ahead. Good.
There's most of the nutrients get into the cell through the bloodstream, but there's a few that get through the skin. There's only a couple that you can put on top of the skin that will get to the cell topically. They won't go into the bloodstream, but they'll get into the cell. That's vitamin C, that's vitamin A, and that's what we call polyelectrolytes. And those are the feature ingredients. Those are the star ingredients. A little more complicated than that because, as you know, there's different forms of vitamin C, there's different forms of vitamin A, but those are the star ingredients of truth treatments in high doses: vitamin C, vitamin A, and polyelectrolytes.
Okay, so you are kind of getting some of the products I'm trying to show, as Ben's giving us so much knowledge, and I don't want to interrupt him, but I also want you to learn about the products. So we've shown the trial kit, and now we've shown the trifecta, which is the hero products kind of that give you the basis. In this, we have the vitamin C, like you're talking about. In your trial pack, you've got your retinol, you've got your omega, and you've got your transdermal C serum. Great little way to get started. These are the nutrients that he's talking about. And then you have your biomimetic mineral mist that is your driver, right? That's going to drive those minerals into your skin.
And it also is mineral. It's the polyelectrolytes.
Right.
Which are a whole story in and of themselves.
So let's get into that, because that was what we really wanted to talk about, is your new products that you're coming out with are all about these electrolytes, right? We got the mask. We got the Electroderm, and we now have this new energy tool. Yes. I really want to get to those before our show's over, talking about how people can now take their trial kit. They've got your basic products going. They've got your trifecta. They're using it under their makeup every day as their primer, and they're keeping their skins very nutrient rich with these that you have formulated specifically to be able to get into those cells and have those cells receive those nutrients to see the change, right? Yeah. And that's what I tell people. With truth treatments, you will see the change immediately. The first time you use the products, you will see a change in your skin because those cells have received that. But I am so excited about this Electrolyte Mask.
Huh. Have you used it yet?
Oh my gosh, have I used it? I literally am buying you out, I think. I put it on in the bath while I'm in the bathtub and just let it be there. But whatever the serum is in the mask, I literally want to scrape the inside of the envelope and make sure not one drop goes to waste. It goes on my hands. It goes on my décolletage. I mean, just we don't want any of that goodness to go to waste. Why? Yes. How is it just?
You want to rub it all over your neck and your body and everywhere else, and you get out of the tub. It's wonderful stuff. I want people to feel that way about all my ingredients. Rub it everywhere.
Absolutely.
Head to toe.
Don't let a drop go to waste. He includes this little spoon, and I say this because these are tiny, and this is pricey products, and it's worth every single drop. But the reason why you need the spoon is your finger can't get out the smallest amount that you need to use of this product. So when you look at this little tiny thing and you're like, what? I paid $50 or whatever for this little kit. And people are like, no, this is gold. This is liquid gold. You won't let one drop go to waste. And it really is the tiniest amount that you use. This is why you use this little cute spoon. But then what is
pharmaceutical dosing, by the way? I call it pharmaceutical dosing.
Pharmaceutical dosing.
I think skincare should be like medicine. And when you take medicine,
heals the skin, also anti-ages the skin.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
I love that. I mean, that goes back to your original story, Ben, of if you're a pharmacist and somebody's coming in with like a burn or a cut or a wound, and you're creating this ointment to heal that wound. And we've all seen that where your hand heals from a burn and it actually looks younger underneath than the other skin around it, right?
Same mechanism.
So which heals the skin also anti-ages the skin. It makes so much sense to me.
Yes.
So tell us
all true treatment products are will heal your skin, including that mask, by the way, which is great after microdermabrasion. It's great after a peel. It's great after a sunburn. It's great after any kind of trauma that you have on your skin. It will accelerate the healing of that trauma. And that's what I'm looking for. Growing collagen, making cells divide, improving the secretions from those cells. My favorite word in biochemistry is a word I rarely use because it sounds complicated, but it's a really cool word. Upregulate. Okay. I'm always looking to upregulate, to make things happen in the skin. And by the way, it's so gratifying to me that you understand this so well. Now I know part of it is you're a bright woman. I've talked to you for several years, and I know that you have you have a basic understanding of how the body works.
We're both ingredient nerds.
Well, we're nerds, right? But a lot of people aren't, and I consider myself to be like a Yoda, like a guide, I'm helping people cut through the morass, the jungle of baloney that's out there. And even if people don't, I don't know why anybody would not use truth treatments, but even if they don't, I make myself accessible to people through my radio show, through phone, people call me, email me. I want to be a representative for what is possible, to help people understand what is possible for them and for their skin. And so when I hear you understand, when I hear how well you understand this, it's so gratifying to me. It means so much to me that I can't even explain. I can't even put it to words. But you're one of the people that get it.
I do get it, and I am so excited because I looked long and hard for it. I am one of those that understands the power of transdermal cell reaction. I have had medicines, but go on topically and have extreme benefits to life-changing scenarios. So I know the power of transdermal. I know the power of our skincare, but I also know the negative aspects. When you use crappy skincare and it's got all these fillers, the negative effects that has on your body.
That's right. It blows me away how people don't know what's in their skincare products. Right. How they'll put something on their skin, and that's the most important thing. I see on Instagram and on Facebook and in other places, people say, "Oh, I love this product. I love that product." I want to know what's in the product, not whether you love it or not. What are you putting on your skin? What are those ingredients? Are they friendly to your skin? Are they toxic? And there's a lot of ingredients that we just poo-poo and we don't think much of and we don't think anything of. But there are things I would wear gloves and a mask when I was working at Blistex because I didn't want to touch those ingredients.
Yeah, and then they're going on somebody's skin or in their body, and you don't even want to touch it.
Do you know there's measurable amounts of parabens in when people have breast cancer? In the tumors, there's measurable amounts of skincare products. Do you know what happens when you go into the ocean with a sunscreen on? In Hawaii, they won't even let you do that because you kill the coral. The same stuff that you're putting on your skin is killing the ocean life.
The ocean life. That is crazy.
Exactly. So, and we're rubbing it on our skin without even thinking about it. Or we talk about how much we love a product and we don't even know that it's got 80 or 90 different ingredients in there. I heard a lady, a chemist for a big company, talking about her favorite eye cream, or I forgot what it was, some kind of cream. And I went online and looked at it. It had 130, no lie, 130 ingredients in it.
You're like reading down the list. And the very last one on the list was vitamin C.
Yeah, it was very much towards the end. That's exactly right.
We're getting so many questions coming in for you, Ben.
Are we live?
We are live, yes.
Oh, we're live. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yes, we are live. We are going live, and we are getting so many questions. Everyone's saying thank you so much for your generous knowledge. We really appreciate that. Michelle says, I love the honey cleanser, and I could not live without it. But it doesn't suds like other face washes. Why doesn't it sud, Ben? That was a good kind of lead into those products. It does sud a little bit.
It does sud a little bit. but you don't need to have suds. Suds will strip away good stuff as well as bad stuff.
Suds are often sulfates, right?
And suds are often, well, a lot of times they're sulfates, but even other ingredients that are sudsing agents are problematic. I like to use an amino acid. I love amino acids. You know, I was talking about bodybuilding and growth. Amino acids are very important for bodybuilding and also for skin growth. But there's one amino acid in particular that's very important for skin cell moisturization. And I don't want to get into this. Actually, I wish I could, but we're going to run out of time. But how skin gets moisturized is incredibly fascinating. And by the way, there's no such thing as a moisturizer, okay? While we're here, check this out.
My hyaluronic. That's my favorite moisturizer.
The word moisturizer is a marketing word. Hydration is different. Moisturizer. You love hyaluronic. That's great. So when we have dry skin, check this out, Jennifer. When we have dry skin, we don't know we have dry skin. Nobody knows they have dry skin. Dry skin cannot be felt. What we feel is hard skin. We confuse dryness with hardness. And this is a very important point. It's not just semantic. Soft skin can be, hard skin can be softened with mayonnaise, with butter, with cooking oil.
And that was the ingredients of the day, right?
And was the ingredients of the day, because people would say, oh, I'm moisturized.
It feels so good to have oils on you, right?
But see, real hydration is a biochemical phenomenon. Right. It occurs underneath the stratum corneum, and if you don't have hydration, you won't have healthy skin. If you don't have hydration, you won't be able to make collagen as effectively. If you don't have hydration, your skin cells won't divide as effectively. So hydration.
And you'll have dark circles, right?
Well, dark circles
hydration kind of comes from inside out.
That's more about the blood, and that's a whole other interesting topic. But what I want people to understand here is hydration is not about the comfort of your skin. It's about the health of your skin. And if your skin is not hydrated, it's going to age quickly. It's not going to heal as fast. You're going to be more susceptible to diseases, and you cannot hydrate directly by putting something on top of your skin. Why? Because hydration has to be locked into the skin. If it was true that you could hydrate from the top down, when you got out of the shower, your skin would be hydrated. Well, we know if you sit in the bathtub for an hour, you're not hydrated, you're dry and pruny. In fact, if you stuck your hand in a glass of water and left it there for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, your skin wouldn't be hydrated. It will be burnt, and you could actually get a water burn.
Wrinkled. All wrinkled and shriveled, right?
If you left it in long enough, it would be burnt. You could get a water burn. Wow. Exactly. You know, people get water burns when they're stuck in bed for a long time and they can't control their bladder. They'll get burnt from the water, as well as other things that are in the fluids. But the point I'm making is, if you want to have moist, hydrated skin, you have to help the skin hydrate itself. And you do that with vitamin C. You do that with retinoids. You do that with alpha hydroxy acids. You do that with retinol, polyelectrolytes. You do that topically, and then internally, you do it with essential fatty acids, you do it with vitamin A, and you take care of the body's biochemistry. If you have dry skin, it's not cosmetic, it's not superficial, it's not just inconvenience, it's a serious health problem, because human skin should never be dry. And here's something else that's terrifying. By the way, we love this at Blistex.
Let's show some before and afters just for fun, Toe. Go ahead. We're going to show the before and afters of your contest because I think they're so impactful. Just while you're talking, go ahead, please.
Okay. The more moisturizer you use, the more you down-regulate moisture factors. That was a great story, by the way. The more you down-regulate.
We have some of these great stories I really would love to hear at some point. But go ahead.
This is why we get addicted to our moisturizers. The more, and I'll do this, moisturizers, because there's no such thing as a moisturizer. The more lotion you use, the more cream you use, the more you're going to need, because you're shutting down the body's or the skin's ability to trap water. This is why we get addicted to our Blistex. And Dr. Jones and the Blistex Corporation became very wealthy because people can't go without their Blistex or their chapstick or their Carmex or whatever they're using, because the more you use, the more you down-regulate moisture factors in the lips, and likewise in the skin. But when you use alpha hydroxy acids, like in our AHA energizing exfoliator, or when you use fat-soluble vitamin C, like in our True Transdermal C serum, or polyelectrolytes, or in all of our products, or many of our products, or when you make sure you're taking
Oh, we got a little hiccup here. Sorry, Ben, we're having a little bit of a sound hiccup in there. This is one of his the biomedical mist. This is the driver, the minerals that drive the products into the skin. Ben's connection is reconnecting, so we'll see when we get him back. But Ben has a new tool that we've just launched as well here. And that is, it's called an energy tool.
Sure.
Ben, we lost you for a minute, so I just started talking. But I want to talk about your new tool as well, and the Electroderm. Tobin was going to put this up. I don't know anything about this.
Oh,
so
you haven't
can
used
you
it
tell Jen of just the newness of this and why we're adding this into our regimen? A lot to do with your electrolytes right now. You're really driving down that between the Electrolyte Mask and now the energy tool and the Electroderm. Tell us about these 3 products that you've just added.
Okay, so let's talk about the device first.
Okay.
There's been electrical current has been utilized in healthcare for many years. Did you ever break your leg or ankle or has a cast on your body in any way? Did they give you a TENS unit? Do you know what a TENS unit is? I've heard of it. It stands for transcutaneous electrical neural stimulation, TENS. Okay. And it's like a little box.
Usually in physical therapy. You go
back.
In
physical therapy, exactly. Okay. When you after surgery, right? Mm-hmm. The electrical current that is generated stimulates the growth of bone, which is connective tissue. Okay. So you turn on connective tissue electrically. This device allows you to generate electrical charges on the surface that turn on the growth of connective tissue in the skin, that is collagen, as well as elastin and also hyaluronic acid. That's number 1. Number 2, this device also tightens muscles and stimulates muscles. So you'll get an immediate facelift, and the pictures are amazing. And we'll have videos that are coming out here in probably next week sometime that are absolutely amazing.
Before and afters are crazy. You definitely need to check out some of Ben's before and afters.
And not just for the face, but for the body as well. We have pictures of women on their butts where you actually get a butt lift.
Wow.
Because what you're doing is you're inducing muscle contractions. And by inducing muscle contractions, you're training the muscle to become bigger and stronger and better, healthier, more vibrant. And that tightens the skin.
Is that what gives you more the plump look and not so like gaunt?
Yes. Over time, you'll get the plump will go away, but immediately you'll get a lift. Okay. And then third of all, it drives other ingredients. Remember we talked about it's not just the ingredients, but it's getting the ingredients into the cell through the skin into the cell. And so you've got instant facelift, you've got long-term stimulation of muscle and connective tissue as well as blood supply, so long-term health benefits. And then thirdly, you drive other ingredients, important ingredients, your Truth Transdermal C Serum, the electrolytes in the mask, the electrolytes in the gel, even retinol and omega-6 healing cream. You can go to town. All of our ingredients are designed to be driven into the skin. That's the purpose. That's why we don't use preservatives, by the way, because we want everything to get down to the levels where the cells are, and this device allows you to do that. So the gel, or Electroderm gel, is a mineral gel, and it allows you to, it supports the conduction of the electrical energy, but it allows you to drive minerals, into electrolytes, I should say, into the lower levels of the skin. So you put some of the gel on your skin, then, and we haven't really put this in the instructions yet, but I'm telling you and for the listeners, put the Electroderm, the Electrolyte Mask on top of the Electroderm, and then you'll drive all. Yes, ma'am.
The sheet mask.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And then on top of the sheet mask, and then if you really want to go all out, put a thin layer of transdermal C serum underneath everything, and you'll drive the vitamin C in as well. So all of our products, all the ingredients in our products, my formulations, are meant to be driven. And that's the third benefit for this machine, is it drives the ingredients to the lower levels where the cells reside, so you can get the maximum benefit from all of your Truth Transdermal transdermal ingredients, Truth Treatments transdermal ingredients. And this is a very powerful device, by the way. So
any ingredient you shouldn't use with this?
No.
I mean, any of your products that you can't put on first and then use?
Maybe retinol. If your skin is really sensitive, maybe be a little bit more careful with the retinol.
Yes.
But you'll have to see. You have to play with it.
And his retinol is very, very powerful and very strong. You have a 1%. Yes, it's amazing retinol. You do need to be careful with that product,
by the way,
because it's so pure.
And let me tell you something. Retinol is great for anti-aging. It excels for that. But retinol is also great for your hands and feet.
Yes.
Retinol also great to apply to dark spots or to pimples. In fact, retinol, because it has an ability to pull things up towards the top, is great to put on mosquito bites. Even splinters will rise to the top more effectively or more quickly when you apply retinol to them. So retinol
and breakouts, right? If you have a breakout right before bed, do a spot treatment. Then what is the percentage of retinol in the roll-on? In the retinol roll-on?
2%.
2%. Okay.
But that also has a 0.5% salicylic acid in there, and it also has vitamin E in there.
So that's a great spot treatment, right?
Excellent spot treatment. And also, I have a lot of friends who carry around when they go camping. They use it for mosquito bites.
Okay. So we're not going to use the retinol with this machine, but other than the retinol.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
We just got to be careful with it.
Just you be careful with it.
Right.
Just know what you're doing.
But we can put the transdermal C-balm on, and then we can put the Electroderm gel on, right? And then we're going to put our mask over it, and then we're going to use the machine on top of that, and that's going to give us maximum benefits.
Maximum benefits. And remember, with true treatments, you don't use a lot of product. You were saying earlier how they're expensive. When you think about it, considering how little you're using and how active the formulations are, and how we took out all the things that don't do anything for your skin, they're actually more cost effective than other products. But on the front end, yes, you're right, they're pricier than a lot of.
You just have to train yourself, which this has been my issue. I'm a pumper, right? If one pump is good, then 7 pumps is really good, right?
No, it's overkill.
No, that's overkill, and you're just wasting it. So that's what you have to train.
You can only handle so much.
Yeah, you have to train yourself to just put in what your body's going to use.
If you want to be luxuriate, Jennifer, and for the listeners, if you want to luxuriate, go frequency. I use my True Transdermal C Serum 3 or 4 times a day.
Okay. I do my spray. My spray never leaves my purse. That's
increase the frequency.
Yeah.
Frequency is more important than the dose. The amount of times in a day you use the dose is more important than the size of the dose all at once. So better to use a small amount more frequently throughout the day than to try to use a large amount once a day. We call that, in the pharmacy business, we call it divided doses. And this is the way you want to take your nutritional supplements, and it's also the way you want to take your medicines, in divided doses, because the body can handle spreading them out. Exactly.
Yeah, so you don't have to intake so much. So we ran through some of your before and after pics really quick. I don't want to just really blow by this tool because it's a huge new item for you guys.
Well, we're going to sell out here pretty quick, I have to say.
Yes.
So if anybody wants the tool, you should get on your website. What is?
So are we just testing this tool at this point right now? We're just testing it, or you're going to keep them around for a long time?
We're going to keep them around for a long time.
Okay, but we have a limited quantity right now up front.
Yeah, we only got a limited quantity because we weren't sure, but we're going to keep it around. Yes, absolutely.
Sounds good. That's exciting. And then we had some I just really want to bring up quick a few of my favorites. The Vita mask, or Vita mask. Not sure how you're saying it.
Well, that's great because both. Vita means life.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So Vita mask.
Vita, your Vita Vita.
Vita Vita Vegemin. Remember that?
I love Lucy. Vegemita vitamin.
Vita Vita Vegemin. No, it's vitamins, yes.
Yeah.
It's a way of dosing your skin with a lot of vitamins all at once. It makes a great body treatment. You know, Carolina, if you know Carolina works with me, she wants us to turn it into a body treatment.
Yeah.
It's great as a night treatment. It's just an awesome way to deliver vitamin. I recommend people use it in the bath, actually. It's a great way to deliver vitamins into the skin. It's great underneath your electrolyte mask. Put a layer of the Vitamask and then the electrolyte mask on top of that. It's a big old dose of vitamins in a sustained release base.
Yeah, I sleep in it. I like to put it on before, right after I do my face cleanse, put on my other true treatments. I will definitely just put it on and just sleep in it. And you wake up in the morning and your skin just feels, you have a glow about you today. Are you using your energy? Because you really do. You're glowing.
I've been doing today more than ever, maybe the lighting, but I've been doing true treatments are the end result, the culmination of strategies and formulations I've been doing for 35 years. My mother has been using True Transdermal C Serum since the early 1990s. And also my friends and people that I loved, I was always giving them true treatments. I didn't call it true treatments at the time, but I was always giving them Transdermal C Balm, Omega-6 Healing Cream, all these formulations. So I've been using these personally myself for decades.
Yeah, you guys would never know that Ben is 97.
I'm going to be 61. 6'1".
Okay, so just one quick story. I want to go. You guys held a contest, right? And you got all these amazing before and afters, which Tobin kind of squirreled through. But let's just talk about the winner, the first place. What was this story?
Oh,
this
my
is
goodness.
just an amazing. Can we talk about it or no?
Yeah, heck yeah, we can.
Super
Look at that.
quick. We only have probably like 3 or 4 minutes left.
It was heartbreaking. I met this gal. I actually met her in person, and
She's gorgeous.
just started. She happens to be a very beautiful woman, but it was heartbreaking to see her skin, and she handled it so well. I mean, I don't know how I would have handled it if it was me. And she's actually a makeup artist, believe it or not. And so she knew how to cover it up with makeup, and she was living with it. But I just told her a few things and gave her some true treatments, and within a matter of weeks, she started to improve. It took her probably about 6 months to get to the state, but look at that. That's what's tough.
Is that the Omega? Did you prescribe Omega?
Oh, it was everything.
Everything?
No, it was everything.
Okay. Because I have one of our stylists got poison oak super bad over her skin, and somehow it must have went systemically. And her eyes just like she kept waking up, and now it just looks so dry, and it almost looks like she could scar from it. And so I prescribed the Omega for sure, and she uses already the trifecta with the vitamin C serum and stuff. So anything else you would suggest beyond that?
Yeah, internal nutrition, anti-inflammatory nutrition, vitamin E, and essential fatty acids.
Vitamin E, you said?
Vitamin E. And essential fatty acids.
Okay.
Vitamin E and essential fatty acids are your main anti-inflammatory there's a lot of them that are, but those are the 2 most important anti-inflammatory nutrients. Vitamin E, especially for skin inflammation, and essential fatty acids. And whenever you take essential fatty acids, by the way, you always want to take them with vitamin E. They work together.
Look at this. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, Ben. I so appreciate our talks.
Thank you, Jennifer Coy. Thank you for dedicating yourself to women's health. I know it's not just skin for you. It's women's health, and you're going to be on my program next week.
Yes, and we're going to talk all about internal beauty from the outside. Yeah. And honestly, that is my mission this year. We really are connecting. We're bringing on more supplements. We just brought on some vitamin patches and some other type of products. But it is all about beauty from the inside out. And it's about our authentic beauty. I'm getting closer and closer to not even wanting to wear foundation. I was wondering if you would actually create a really sheer foundation that can kind of baby step us off.
I think women's skin and human skin, not just women's skin, but human skin is beautiful. Yes. And we want to make it healthy so you don't need any foundation. So my goal for you is to get you to where you don't need any foundation. I don't wear foundation.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I'm still working with, honestly, it's hard to tell, but I do have those little spotches, and we've talked about that. That's, whatever.
The progesterone and
so we're working on some of the hyperpigmentation
but you look gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with you at all. You look stunningly beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
I couldn't correct anything.
Well, I appreciate your being a fellow member on the journey of beauty from the inside out and health, and removing. A lot of times it's what's not in them products. So let's show Clean Salon really quick as we go to the end. Everything in True Treatments. This is just a tip of the iceberg, but of course, they're alcohol-free, fragrance-free, cruelty-free. No artificial colors, organic, sulfate-free. So there's just so much more. Barely 5 ingredients in a lot of these top-selling products. They are all active ingredients. If they're not needed, they're not there, right?
If they're not needed, we say everything. If they're not needed, they're not there. We say everything your skin needs and nothing it doesn't. Organic is a food designation, though. It's for things that you eat, so it's not necessarily for skincare. But we don't use fragrances or preservatives or fillers or waxes. Certainly, people ask about cruelty-free all the time, by the way.
Ben, that one's on there because of your supplements. Because your brand itself has organic properties to it, and that is for your internal ingestible and supplements.
Right. Now, cruelty-free is interesting, though, because we get this question a lot. And we love animals. We don't test on any animals. Yeah. We love all animals, including human animals. We love them all. We don't test on any of them.
Don't test on any of them, and all of the ingredients have been around, and they're already biogenic within the system, so you're not really testing anything, right? You kind of already know what works. Right. It's been around for 1 billion years.
That's right. For 3.5 billion years.
There you go. Exactly. Benjamin Knight, thank you so much for your knowledge, and you have a great week, great weekend. You got any fun weekend plans?
No fun weekend plans. I'm going to work and stuff. I pretty much have fun a lot. I don't have any special fun, just normal fun. But I want to tell everybody that Jennifer's going to be on my radio program, and we're going to talk about our one of our personal favorite things, which is hormone health, on the bright side.
The bright side. The bright side with Benjamin Fuchs on March 11th. I will be on there 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll see you there. So I'll talk to you soon.
Jennifer. Thanks,
Have a good day.
Bye.
It's always a fun show with Ben. We don't get a lot accomplished because he dives deep into knowledge, and I appreciate that so much. I learn something every time I am on the show with him. Remember, we have all licensed cosmetologists answering our phone, so at the numbers below, if you have further questions about the show, they are all trained in these products and can help you discern what is best for your skin. And I hope you have some fun weekend plans this week, and have a good week. We will be back next week with another great show. See you then. Bye for now.